Thor 4 has officially finished shooting, shared the first shots that lead us to some thoughts. There are also official details about the movie Guardians of the Galaxy, so now we can safely and confidently talk about all the news of the film. For example, when will the events in the film unfold? Will Taika Waititi be fired like James Gunn? And will Chris Hemsworth stay on Thor 5? Sit down comfortably, it will be very interesting. Well, let's start with the simplest. If the previous shots with the appearance of Thor could still be written off as a flashback, now the long-haired and pumped-up torso will officially return in the fourth part. Korg will also appear in the film because Taika Waititi was depicted in a motion capture suit. But back to Guardians of the Galaxy, James Gunn has officially confirmed that the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 action will unfold after Thor 4. And that those will appear in the series What If? This summer. The statement of the director of Guardians of the Galaxy confirms that the script of both projects was urgently rewritten, because initially the third film Star-Lord was supposed to be released earlier. Everything should have been the opposite, where Thor was supposed to appear at the beginning of the film Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but now the Guardians are waiting for this, as they were seen on the set of the film Thor 4 in full force. And, in turn, this data leads us to another conclusion, that there will definitely be a time jump in Thor 4, because I think you remember that during the last encounter with the God of Thunder, he had a nice beer belly, right? And judging by the footage from the shoot, Thor will be pumped up in the film, at least at the beginning. Most likely, he will appear with a beer belly, and judging by the footage from the shoot, Thor will be pumped up in the movie. He's a god, of course, but even the gods can't remove a beer belly so quickly. And there are two possible options: or a pot-bellied Thor will appear at the beginning of the movie, and then he and the Guardians will separate, and after the time jump, the events of the movie will begin. Or the project itself starts sometime after the Avengers 4. Unfortunately, both options will inevitably cause problems, because if earlier the film universe was kept on a par with the real world, then after the final events it was moved to 2025. And if there is a time jump in the Torah, then where it will be is decidedly unclear. It used to be easy to draw parallels between Marvel projects, but now, to be honest, there's some confusion. WandaVision apparently started 3 months after the finale, and Spider-Man, released 2 years ago, technically took place after the events of WandaVision. However, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier are between projects and unfold after WandaVision, but before Spider-Man 2. The third Tom Holland film is coming out very soon. Judging by the photos from the shooting, it will be autumn and winter. That is, we can assume that it will be the beginning of 2026. And if Thor has a time jump, it should appear somewhere in the same place. And where will the Guardians of the Galaxy be at this time? Honestly, it's not clear. We can say that the thin and clear timeline of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is slowly, but surely being covered by a copper basin. And it will be difficult to figure out where the conditional Nick Fury is at a certain point in time, and where some Captain Marvel is. However, Kevin Feige has already stated that the pandemic has not changed the plans for the overall plot of the film universe, which means that there is nothing to worry about. In the meantime, let's talk about Thor, and first of all dive into the latest footage from the shooting. Here we see the new Asgard, and next to it an entire travel agency, where there is also an entire Viking ship next to it, which leads us to an understandable reflection. Once again, about the time jump, because to build such a city so quickly will not work. And secondly, about the essence of the life of the newest Guardians on the planet. Valkyrie, being chosen as the new queen, is obviously interested in tourism and earns as much as she can. But there is one more thing that attracts attention: the burned and destroyed houses on the set. Apparently, the new Asgard will be attacked. There are many candidates, but the most obvious ones are Zeus or Gore the God-Slayer, performed by Christian Bale. Perhaps he will visit Asgard in search of Thor, but I can say that all this is just theory and speculation, which we will not dwell on in detail. Let's talk about two uncomfortable things, more specifically about Valkyrie. The internet again remembered about Tessa's promise to reveal the bisexuality of the heroine. And now about the words of the actress. She said that the first thing when she gets the position of King of Asgard, she will look for the Queen. All this in itself creates the feeling that the word love in the title of the film has nothing to do with Thor. And Jamie Alexander, who has publicly stated that she would like to be Valkyrie's love interest, only added fuel to the fire. In particular, the fact that recently the actress in her social networks periodically began to post stories about Thor, thus hinting that she will appear again in the film. And it is quite possible that Lady Sif will have a relationship with Valkyrie. It's also funny that Tessa Thompson was seen hugging and kissing such a Waititi, and Rita Ora, his girlfriend, was also seen with them and doing the same thing. And of course Disney did not like the whole story. According to The Telegraph, the director received a real reprimand from Marvel. And so there are rumors that after the 4th round, Waititi will be kicked out. But do not be upset and worry, because for cinema and Disney in particular, this is a common situation. We also remind you of the situation with Disney and James Gunn. It is very doubtful that they will kick out Waititi, because he is almost the only director with a good name who has influenced almost all the events of the Marvel films. Yes, there is Chloe Zhao, Sam Raimi, but you can say that these guys have just started their journey through the Marvel universe. So the story definitely won't go any further than a reprimand, because at this point, Waititi doesn't need Marvel any more than she needs him. Returning to Thor, the photo shows that Jane Foster will still get Mjolnir, and given the current trends, many logically assume that the main character of the next Thor will be her. This is indeed quite possible, but it is also not worth seeing off Chris Hemsworth. Yes, the actor's contract with Thor 4 ends, but the situation of Chris is the opposite of the situation of Downey Jr. and Chris Evans. The actor never intended to leave. Even recently he said that he would continue to play Thor. So Thor definitely won't be leaving the screens anytime soon. I would also like to warn you that you should not pay attention to the plot leaks of the film. There are already a million of them on the internet, but the truth is that we don't know anything and most likely won't know until the trailer. So we can only wish all the fans patience, especially since you will have something to do, because the series about Loki is coming out very soon.